Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent who is consistently taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week, and we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. If you're watching on Vulcan7 or Facebook, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions during the broadcast. And folks, type in some questions. Get those in early, because by the time we ask for that, then we don't have any, and then we have too many. So get your questions in early. And first, let's talk about the Vulcan7 Challenge. The Vulcan7 Challenge is once a month. Shadow a great agent in another market that is taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week average. And, drive 3 or 4 hours to their other market or fly there. That's even better. That's a lot more fun. Get there, fly there. Get there that afternoon, have dinner with them if they're available, go to their office early in the morning, take a lot of notes, type a lot of notes, record a lot of things, and then have lunch with them and head back home. At the end of, if you do that once a month, at the end of a year, you've got 12 amazing friends who are doing amazing things, and you become one of them. So before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everybody that we are also simulcasting the show on the private lead gen group on Facebook. They have 47,000, maybe it's 48,000. I haven't looked in the last few days. So we have a very large audience there as well today. So we'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the lead gen folks. Let me introduce my co-host from San Diego first, Carly Hathaway. That's carlyhathaway.com. Hey, Carly, how are you doing? How's real real estate business?
Real estate's good. I'm doing great. It's a seller's market, so it's a great time to take listings.
Good.
Yeah.
So let's introduce our guest. And this is exciting, and I've been looking forward to this for since I talked to her about joining us on this show from Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's exciting. We have Calla Ricciardi. Or as I've been told, it's Calla Ricciardi.
Ricciardi.
Welcome, Calla.
Thanks, friend.
Hi, Calla. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're so excited to interview you.
Thank you, Carly.
Yeah.
And first and most important, because people send business to other people from this show, and we've heard some good stories. So we want anybody that's thinking about moving to Kenosha, or somebody that wants to move to Kenosha, or you need to refer somebody that wants to move to Kenosha, what's the best way for them to reach Calla Ricciardi?
The best way to reach me is my email, which is Calla, Calla, at CasInCharlie21.com.
Okay, great. And is there a website also that they could go take a look, see how you're set up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's www.callaricciardi.com, and Ricciardi is RICCIARDI.
Okay, super. That way they can connect with you on a lot of levels that way
Absolutely.
as well. So,
absolutely.
Good. Perfect. Well, let's tell us a little bit about your business and how you're set up. I mean, I've known you for quite a while, and you pretty much dominate the town there.
Yeah, it's been really great. I started coaching with Mike Ferry about 20 years ago, and I've been in the business for 34 years. The last 3 years, I've closed over 150 transactions every year, and I focus on taking listings and prospect every day.
Right. So, and you buy a lot of advertising and just wait for the calls to come in. Is that right?
Actually, I don't buy any advertising, Ren.
No advertising.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good.
I use this awesome system called Vulcan7, and I get those expireds, and every morning, that's the first thing I do. I open up my computer, and I call all the expireds and for sale by owners that are in Vulcan7, and then I move on, call my past clients in Sphere, and then if I run out of people to call, I'll call around a property I've just sold.
What about those FSBOs? You don't talk to them, do you?
I do. We don't have a lot of FSBOs in our marketplace, but the FSBOs and expireds are the quickest listings. They need us.
Good.
Nice.
Absolutely. The FSBOs, all they're doing is advertising, trying to find a real estate agent.
Good.
Very true.
That is quite true.
Yeah. So it sounds like you really have built your business basically on calling. Can you kind of walk us through a typical day? What time do you like to get on the phones? Do you role play in the morning? Like, just walk us through a typical day in the life of.
Perfect. So typically I get to the office at 7:30. I typically work just Monday through Thursday. So I get to the office for a 7:30 role play. I role play from 7:30 till 8. And then I'm usually on the phones by about 8:15. And one of the things I really try hard to do is shut off my email and shut off my cell phone. As a matter of fact, my assistant takes my cell phone, so I'm not interrupted. And then I prospect until 11:30. Get 2 ends. I have no buyer agent, so I do 150 deals basically myself. I meet with the admins at 11:30, and then usually 12 to 12:30 I do admin things, maybe look at some CMAs and what have you, and then I go out on appointments from like 1 until I try to be home in the house by 6 o'clock Monday through Thursday. And then on the weekends, I periodically have to do a counter offer or present an offer or something like that, but I try hard to avoid actually meeting with people on the weekends and Fridays.
So it's kind of a weekday business.
Pretty much, yeah. Monday through Thursday is what is the plan, to try to do 150 deals.
In 4 days.
Amazing.
Right, in 4 days, yeah.
And then you'll do it 3 days after that, probably, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Once I can get that, mastered, then I'll move it down to 3 days. That'd be perfect.
Nice. And you don't have a buyer's agent. Do you work with buyers, or you refer?
Yeah, I do work with buyers. I usually work with about 30 buyers a year. I do have people that help me out if I'm not available, because with the way the market is right now, you better get your buyers in there right away. So I have people in my office that will help me out on a individual basis to take a buyer out.
Yeah, and your buyers, when you look at it, you've sold their home, they have nowhere to live. That's your ideal buyer. That doesn't take a lot of time. They're very motivated.
Exactly. I work with A buyers, and that's it. And if they want to look at 25 houses, I will find other agents to take them through those other houses, because I just don't have the time.
Good idea. That's good.
Yeah.
What a smooth business.
4 years, you can pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
And with all that advertising you're not spending, your bank account, your banker must love you.
Yeah, I love it too.
So the gross and the net are pretty similar, huh? Except for Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Oh, except for Century 21.
Oh, except for Century 21. But for a long time, her mother owned the company, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Mom owned the company for 33 and a half years, and we just sold to Century 21 affiliated. So it's been great.
Good for you. So you mentioned that you do role playing from 7:30 to 8 every morning, but you've been doing this and using the Mike Ferry scripts for over 20 years, you said. How important is it that you think the role playing is? Like, you must have the scripts down by now. Something,
it is so critical to sharpen the axe. I mean, the more you practice, the better you're going to be on the phone. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's professional. I mean, if you look at professional baseball players, basketball players, football players, anybody that's professional, they have a coach, and they don't quit coaching after they've, won the Super Bowl or whatever they do. They still maintain their coach. And that's how I feel. My coach, the coaching I've gotten from Mike Ferry and the role playing, it's critical to the better I can be, the better chance I'm going to have of getting listings. I probably right now, I'm averaging about 84% of the appointments I go on. I get the appointment, but just think of where I could be if I could make it to 90%.
Wow. Yeah,
Definitely.
That's good. And 84 is a great number too.
It's not good enough.
So how do you go from 84 to 90? What are those steps? For people that are kind of like, they can't even fathom it, but it'd be interesting to hear what that would be like.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you have to really listen when you're pre-qualifying the buyer. I mean, I have a full list of questions that I ask people, but you need to really probe them and find out, why are they moving? Okay, they're moving to Chicago, or they're moving to who knows where, but why? Is this a positive move or a negative move? And really get more information from them, because I think the more qualified the buyers are and the more information you have, the better you're able to help them. And you can also decide their motivation, and the motivation is key to whether they're going to move or they're going to list the property.
Yeah, and I guess you're right. You have to, and if you really probe, like you're saying, at first they give you the surface answer, and then you get the real answer as you probe, and then that changes the whole dynamic of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, exactly. And asking them all the questions on that pre-qual, and making sure you don't assume that it's a past client. You've got the listing in the bag. Find out if they're interviewing other agents.
You interview every one of your past clients.
Excuse me?
You pre-qualify every one of your past clients.
I do. I do. And I try to make sure I ask them every single question because
Every single question.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't, what if they are interviewing other agents and you get there and you're thinking it's a slam dunk and it's not?
I know. There you go. I know.
So, when you're pre-qualifying stuff like that, you obviously have things that, is going to set you off and you're not going to take the listing appointment. What's the best way that you find to overcome unrealistic prices that they have in mind?
I think the biggest thing is you need to know the motivation, because the motivation will cure the unrealistic sale price. And if they are not motivated, then that's where you'd want to draw the line and not want to go on the appointment. But sometimes you need to also go out to the house to determine that complete motivation.
Yeah.
So if they absolutely have to move, and they absolutely have to move right away, but they want to overprice it. They don't know much on the property, but they want to overprice it.
Right. And then in that particular case, you just show them the comps and you take the listing, and then, the market's going to dictate the price, not me.
Yeah, because they have to move and they have to move right away. So overprice doesn't mean anything because reality will kick in pretty fast.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the motivation drives it. So as you probe, as you're powerful on your pre-list, because so many agents go to the house and start asking questions there.
Exactly. And they have no clue what they're walking into. A lot of agents, they just walk out there like, oh, great, listing appointment, boom, I'm there. And then they get there and, they find out it's the kids there, it's the parents' house, or, a lot of different things can happen.
A lot of surprises.
Yeah.
So how long typically is your listing appointment?
Unfortunately, I would say it's probably like 60 to 90 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is a little bit longer than I would like it. I should work on that to improve that, to shorten it up a little bit. Mike Ferry would be really disappointed in me if he found out I was out.
Are they getting something from you ahead of time, or what takes it out to 60 to 90? Or are you just only doing luxury homes where it takes an hour to walk through the house?
Yeah, I actually send out a pre-list in most cases, and I just talk too much. That's my problem. I'll be honest.
What do you include in your pre-list package?
What I usually do is I send out, a little bit of information to me, not a lot, a resume, the list of the 150 sales I did in 2017 and 2016. I also have like some the mortgage information I want to collect, property condition report, just some of the documents if they can fill that out ahead of time. And then a note, like look for the title policy, give me a couple keys, so that they're ready for everything when I get there. And it does go much quicker when they have everything completed.
You run this like a business.
I do. I know. Isn't that amazing?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you can do 150 with ease and 4 days a week.
Yeah. Hey, I can only improve. I can improve on everything.
I know. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
So you haven't touched on it, but in interviewing a lot of folks, and I know you are, a lot of people are in some sort of coaching, whether it's in with their franchise like Keller Williams, or whether it's Mike Ferry or Tom Ferry or different organizations. What's the importance of coaching? What has that done for you? Why are you in it for years and spending $12,000 a year doing something like that? Why do you do that?
Something, man, I've been in the real estate business for over 34 years, and I started coaching about 20 years ago. And I started coaching when I was closing right around 45 to 50 deals, and I was trying to improve. And so my business has gone from 45 to 50 deals to 150. And I wish it would have been a magic pill that happened overnight. But when you're in coaching, you constantly have someone asking you, like how many appointments are you going to go on? How many listings are you going to take? How many hours did you prospect? And you're also accountable to your coach. So if you have someone constantly helping you to improve, that's how I've gone from 50 to 150 deals. And really, if you think about the $12,000 I pay a year for coaching, it's a drop in the bucket, because I am making, 8 times as much money as I was when I started coaching 10 years or 20 years ago. So it's huge.
So, I so when you first signed up for coaching, you were doing 50 transactions.
I was.
Where you were at that time?
Yep, I was. Right around 45.
You were like going to sign up for $1,000 a month. It must have been like, what's going through your mind there? $1,000 a month. But at the end of 12 months, you said 12,000 and then there's a return on investment.
Absolutely.
In the first year, how many times do you think you paid that 12,000 over, paid back that 12,000 with additional business?
Yeah, I would definitely right off the bat. One of the biggest things with me is I'm coachable, and I actually did listen to what my coach had to say. Mm-hmm. And that's a big factor is, letting go of your ego and like, I know the best way to do things and actually listen to what somebody else has to offer you. I would say that coaching has never really cost me any money because ever since the first month I started with coaching, I've been doing more business and doing more deals. So I think that the year and 10% of what I make.
Fantastic.
So let me ask you this, for some people that are just starting out with the scripts and just starting to call expired and FSBOs, what is something that keeps you motivated on the phones when you're, not getting the feedback you want, when you're getting shut down a lot? Like, what's your reason to just stay on the phones and keep going and keep pounding those calls?
Something, Kelly, probably one of the most important things is to realize how the numbers work. Okay. So that if you make the contacts, you're eventually going to get the listing appointments and you're eventually going to get the listings and then you're eventually going to get the money, and that's going to get you to the goals that you're setting. So I think if you sit down and you write out your goals every day and what you're working towards, and that if you make, even if it's 15 or 20 contacts or 25 contacts, you can't start out the first day of prospecting and think you're going to make 47 contacts a day like I do. It's just not realistic. But if you start out and, just make yourself a commitment for an hour a day and making 15 calls a day, you're going to see an improvement in your business.
Nice.
So you do 47 a day now.
Right, that's my goal. And what really forces me to do those 47 contacts a day, which is crazy, I have 2 accountability. So we text every day when we get done with our prospecting. And if I don't make my 47 contacts, I have to pay them $100. And that is huge to me. I don't want to pay someone $100 for not making my 47 contacts. So
did you have to pay it ever?
I have once, and it's been over 2 years I've been doing it. And yeah, I don't like doing it at all.
Are you up for a role play?
Am I up for a role play?
Yeah.
Sure.
You pick expired, FSBO, past client. What do you want?
Why don't we do an expired?
Okay. Carly, why don't you be a seller?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Carly. This is Calla from Century 21. I'm sure you figured out that your home came off the market as an expired listing today. I was calling to see, when do you plan to interview a new agent for the job of selling your home?
Literally, you're like the 10th person that has called. I'm over you real estate agents calling me. I don't know. I'm just over it.
You know something, Carly? I can totally appreciate that. If I had a buyer out there that was looking for a home like yours, are you still interested in selling?
Do you have a buyer?
I work with a lot of buyers, and I really don't know if I have a buyer for your home until I actually see it. Wouldn't it be a good time for me to stop by and take a look at the home so I could see if one of my buyers would work for your home?
Are you going to bring a buyer?
I am not going to be bringing a buyer with me. I need to see the home before I can make a determination as to whether it would work for one of my buyers or not.
Okay.
Are you available this afternoon, or is tomorrow better for you?
Well, I just don't know why I would work with you rather than the agent I was just working with, or, You know
something, Carly, that's exactly why we need to meet. I can show you how I've actually closed over 150 deals in the last year. I do things differently than the typical agent. Wouldn't it be the best time for me?
Can you explain over the phone to me what you would do different?
No, I really need to show you. When would be a good time? I could stop by this afternoon, or is tomorrow better for you?
I could do tomorrow, I guess.
Okay. What's better for you, 2 or 4?
4.
All right. Sounds good. I'll see you then, Carly.
All right. I can't wait.
I would ask more questions, depending on how you
I wrote down a couple things that are fun in there. One is, well, I used to call it the objectomatic. Whatever they say, you said, well, that's exactly why we need to meet. I can't remember what she said, but you responded with, that's exactly why we need to meet. Or we're going to give it a break. Well, that's exactly why we need to. You used that. And that kind of worked well. And the second thing you pointed out right after that was, I do things differently than the average agent. Separating yourself out by I do things differently, because a lot of people don't know that. They think we all do the same thing.
Yeah.
So and then you gave her a choice, which is better for you, 2 or 4. You didn't say, what time should we meet? You didn't say, how about 4 o'clock? She had to think 2 or 4 versus 4 o'clock or no. So there are 3 really, that shows a lot of practice. And obviously, I see why you why you sell 150 homes a year.
Thank you, Ren.
That was great. So
strong stuff in there. Strong stuff.
Yeah. So obviously I was a little disgruntled and trying to be rude to you. So if I did finally decide to agree, would you then pre-qualify me right then, or would you call me back in that?
Yes, entirely. I would try to pre-qualify you right on the phone. It just depends on how nasty you really are, though, because if you are really that hard to deal with, I might rather just get to your house, because a lot of times in person, people have a much harder time really objecting to you.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that was great. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Let's do some Q&A. Let's take a peek and see who we've what I've got on the list here. I need to speak to someone about the Vulcan7 challenge. No, call Calla. Go shout out. She gave you her email address. Look at all the awards in her background. The Oscars of real estate, it looks like. Well, that's not a question, but thank you. Aldo wants to know how many expires people are getting a day. It just depends, Aldo, on your market. What's your follow-up schedule, he says. What is your follow-up schedule?
So basically, I have a little bin next to my my desk I prospect at, and I have 1 through 31, and I have January through December. So I just put the people in the slot that I think is appropriate for the call.
Okay, makes sense. And then somebody's asking about your role play. Do you have one role play partner, different role play partners? How does that work?
Yeah, I have a different role play partner every single day. And, I've got the ones I've actually had for probably over a year, but they're really good people and they're dependable and we have good conversations. So I've kept them. But yeah, they're all different people from different parts of the country. I try to get as many people in the same time zone, but it just depends on the people.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, it's a little easier if they're in your time zone.
Right.
And if you don't have enough expires to call, who do you call? Also, it is so hard to reach 25 contacts. Javier Beltran says it's hard to reach 25 contacts. He's got a good point. When you're newer in this, to get to do your 47 a day, who are you calling? Now, you have more past clients and things like that. Who's in the mix of that 47?
Yeah, and that's a great question, Ren. I always look at it like I'm so lucky that I get to talk to 26 past clients, sphere of influence a day, and that's what I do. And over half my business is from my past clients in my sphere, so I do have a big advantage. But you can get out and knock on doors, and you can also call around either sold listings that you personally have sold, or sold listings that have sold in the multiple listing, sold listing from somebody else in your company. You can call around listings anytime.
Yeah.
And right, and there are bunches of those. Yes.
When you're calling and you've called a few times, do you leave voicemails ever?
I only leave voicemail messages for my past clients in my sphere. I don't leave message. And once in a while, I might leave a message for for sale by owner, because if you leave a message saying, hey, I have some interest in your house, this is Calla, whatever, and a lot of times they'll call you back.
Okay. That's true. Yeah, those all make sense. How many closes before you move on? Don Sheets from here locally, he was saying he noticed there were like 4 or 5 closes there and thought it was a great job, and he wants to know what point you move on.
It's really just a gut feeling. I try to close people 2 or 3 times, and it's funny though, sometimes the nastiest people that hang up on you, if you call them back 2 or 3 days later, they'll forget that they've talked to you and they'll be receptive. So you just have to have guts and not worry about it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Let's see. If you, I'm going to skip that. From Facebook, I don't know who the person is. I love digging into motivation. How important is that for you? It's very important, whoever asked that question. I can tell them. It's because a lot of times people give you that surface answer, and if you dig a little bit, you get little bit more truth, because not everybody volunteers, some of their dirty laundry to you. You have to build that rapport to get that dirty laundry. John Bell, what further qualification would you do? I don't know what that means, John. What does that mean, Carly?
I don't know.
You send mailers to all of your expireds. How about that one, Calla?
I don't send a lot of mailers. I send out, a couple, but typically I don't send anything out to expireds. The only mailings I really do, I try to do a quarterly mailing to my past clients in Sphere. And it's just simple. Call Calla Ricciardi for your real estate needs. It's just a, oversized postcard.
Mm-hmm. And do you door knock still, or?
No, I haven't. I think door knocking is a great idea. And I've gotten a lot of, I do live in Wisconsin, so there is a limited window of decent weather. And I don't normally do it.
Yeah.
Laurie Rhodes asks a good question. When you call your sphere of influence, what do you call them about? Since you're calling so frequently, is it all business? What's a call to a past client sphere of influence?
Well, typically you want to give your past client or sphere something of value. Okay. So, you talk about what's happening in the market, maybe a new listing. What's like right now, currently, it's like, hey, this 2018 is expected to be an awesome year for real estate. Do you have any questions about what's going on out there in the real estate market? Or do you know of anybody that wants to buy or sell before the interest rates can continue to increase? So just offer them something of value and try to make it pretty short, because otherwise people aren't going to want to really talk to you when you call.
True. A good point. On and off quickly and a piece of value there. Perfect. Then they're glad you called.
Mm-hmm. So for sale by owner Josh Rodriguez, which is the best time to call as part of your daily routine? Well, she calls in the morning. I think most people do. You want to be one of the first, agents to call expireds, right?
Absolutely. It's great to call in the morning, but I'll tell you, sometimes calling for sale by owners, I haven't done it for many years, but when I was new, I called for sale by owners on Sunday afternoons, like around 4 or 5, because they were disheartened about their open houses, and it was a good time to get a hold of them. So Sunday afternoons for sale by owners, and expireds is actually good too.
Mm-hmm. And did you ever go to the open houses for sale by owners and just try to meet them and talk to them then?
I don't work on Sundays anymore, and so I don't really prospect on Sundays. But I think it's a good idea. It doesn't hurt to go out and be there in person to the open houses. I've just never done it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting this a lot because people are, they call expireds, they call for sale by owners. They've got an idea what you're saying to past clients is fear. But then, maybe they're new in the business and their past clients is fear is like 37 people, and then they've got Tuesday. Now it's Tuesday, So when you're calling around a listing or a sale, what does that look like? Just listed, you called around a recent sale that your company had or you had, or a recent listing. What does that conversation sound like? We have 2 or 3 people that want to get a feeling for that.
Okay. You got to do that real quick, Ren?
Sure.
Okay. Ring.
Hello.
Hey, Ren, this is Calla from Century 21. I just listed a property over on 123 Main Street. It's a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $250,000. Who do you know that would like to buy a home in your neighborhood?
I can't think of anybody.
Can't think of anybody. Great. Thanks so much for thinking about it. Tell me, Ren, when do you plan on making a move?
We just moved in here 10 years ago, so not for a while.
Wow, you just moved in there 10 years ago. Awesome. Where did you move from?
Chicago.
Wow, Chicago. How did you happen to pick this area?
We Wisconsin, we were just, I was eating more and more cheese, and I thought, let's go north.
Awesome. So, Ren, if you were to move, where would you go next?
Probably back to Chicago, because I miss the pizza.
Wow, awesome. So back to Chicago. So let me ask you, would you like to be moved in 1 to 3 months, or would you like to start moving at that? Do you want to be moved in 1 to 3 months, or do you want to start moving at that time?
I'm not sure. To be candid, we are giving it some thought. So it probably would be, I'd probably want to look at that in the spring. Because it's
okay, so probably
right
in the
now
next
I'm
month
chiseling my car, chiseling the ice off my car right now, and I don't want to think about
it. Absolutely. Well, you know what, Ren, the spring market's here right now, and if you have any questions I can help you with, please feel free to give me a call, and I would determine at that point whether I want to keep the lead or whether I want to follow up on them.
Right, it's a numbers game. You're talking to them; those are quick calls, and Yeah, what's that good for? An extra couple listings a month or something like that? Just listed, just sold?
Yep. Yeah. Usually one or two.
One or two. Okay. So that's a significant amount of money. I mean, you could make $100,000 income just working that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the better you are, the better you know the scripts, and the better you're on the phone, the more money you're going to make. Perfect.
That really helps. This has been just fantastic, and I want to thank everybody for all these questions. And it looks like we had a lot of questions in this round, so a lot of people want to know a lot of things, and sorry we couldn't ask every single one of them. But I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Calla for sharing, and hopefully there's a lot of people here that are watching that got a handful of ideas that they can apply right away and maybe do an extra sale this month. If as a result of some of the ideas, if you took an extra listing, got an extra sale, let us know. Send us an email, text us. We'd love to hear about it. And so I want to thank everybody. Oh, I've got to say my important piece or I'll get in trouble, because Facebook, the lead gen group, has been very, very helpful with, an additional 1,000 people that watch this. If you're interested in getting involved with them and the lead gen group, 48,000 people, go to facebook.com/groups/got objections. And thank Aaron Wittenstein, who runs it. He runs a program called expiredmasteryelite.com. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not yet involved with Vulcan7, can't imagine, sign up at vulcan7.com/lead-gen for a special deal. And if you, like Calla, if you've done your 47 contacts, if you've done it and you deserve to celebrate, go to the freezer and get some delicious Graeter's mint chocolate chip ice cream. You deserve it. Celebrate. Reward yourself. You've done it. And work 4 days a week like Calla and be a rock star. See you guys next week.
Thank you, Ren.
Thank you, Calla.
Thanks, everybody.
For joining us. Thank you.
See you guys next week. See you in 7 days.
All right.